JayCast.
3, 2, 1, go.
JayCast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to JayCast, where there's games, guests, and two guys with big headphones. Although I never technically can say that my headphones are as big as yours, Yeti. Your headphones will always supersede mine. Unless, of course, I wore my Logitech ones, then I would have like 7 times over you. Today's special guest is EFSF Raiben. Can you tell us what EFSF stands for?
It's actually from Gundam, and it stands for Earth Federation Space Forces. But typically, I go by Raiben.
Just go by Raiben?
Yeah, it's easy.
Not Ray-Bans. You're not a sunglass company. Am I correct on that one?
Not a sponsor.
Well,
Not a sponsor.
unfortunately,
How many times
if
have we
they
done
want-
that so far? 3?
If they want to
3?
sponsor me, I'm down for that. But currently,
I could just see.
not sponsored.
I could just see you in this commercial too, dude. With and sorry, he's got a webcam today, but this dude's pretty decent build. He's got a ponytail and I think a little bit of facial hair, and I could just see you just like whipping your hair back and forth with the Ray-Bans on, and this is just the weirdest. Everybody's going, "What?"
It's either that or my my profile picture, the mech.
Oh
with
yeah.
Sunglasses on, which would also be kind of awesome.
That would be amazing. So this
I
week,
might have to get that done. I might have to make that picture now. Thanks.
don't
More for-
encourage fan art. Don't encourage fan fictions. Just
And he's
whatever.
gonna have like sparkles on in the sunlight on his face, and his hair is just gonna be like all wavy, like in L'Oreal commercials.
Someone.
Hey, it's pulled back right now.
Oh,
What can
God.
I say?
No,
I gotta keep it out of my face.
I had someone link to me fan fiction. It wasn't for me, but it was a fan fiction for like I think Markiplier or something like that. And
Right.
it's so messed up what people come up with. It's like
Oh, I
what?
know.
And it's just like a fan art, and especially the Marky Mash thing that he does, where
Oh, God.
basically he played with Yami Mash, and he made a joke about it, about them doing stuff that was legal, of course, I think, and it turned into a bad fan fiction, and then someone linked me one, and I'm like, and I was just like, it's 3 a.m. Who needs sleep? So let's check it out. And at the end of it, I was just like, I can never unsee what I've unseen.
Yep. That's how fanfic works and fan
I am
art.
scared.
Yeah.
I really want to know who like came up with the very first fan fiction, because I just want to kind of like slap them in the face, sort of.
I wouldn't mind locking them in a cellar. That might
yeah.
actually be a slightly more effective ploy.
As long as you lock them in a cellar without pencil and paper.
I was just gonna say, as long as you don't give them
agreed,
pencil,
agreed,
paper, or a
100%.
keyboard, they're fine.
Exactly. Well, no,
That-
you can give them a keyboard, just don't connect it to anything.
Just special
Just let it- just
yeah,
let
you
them
can
wish.
type. Yeah, you can type something. Yeah,
You
go
can
ahead,
type
man.
whatever you want, mate, and nobody will ever see it.
And then Yeti Hyrule got on top of Ray-Ban, and then things got really awkward. Oh wait, this isn't connected to a computer. This isn't safe.
I'm just glad that my channel's not to the point where I have to deal with that sort of thing
Thank
yet.
God mine is
I think it's
neither.
kind of a compliment.
I've had like fan art, like people actually like draw things for me, but I've never like all of a sudden just had that moment where it was just like, okay, why are you? That's really creepy, dude. Why are you doing this to me?
All I'm gonna say is, Yeti, you're on bottom.
Yeah, you're. Wait, what? Oh God. I didn't realize I was very delayed on that reaction to the joke.
Welcome to any podcast that I'm involved in.
So let's talk about games and not fan fictions, because this is getting weird. So let's talk about some games that we've been playing
I guess
this
I'm just
week.
gonna sit here and take that.
Yep. I'm just gonna make sure. Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
God, stop. This is getting
Okay.
worse.
Video
See,
games.
The best part about this is that Jay tries to stay relatively,
On topic.
family
I'm like-
friendly and stuff like that.
And then we're talking about.
and
Yeah.
and anybody that's watched my channel knows that I don't have such illusions. So I'm trying to stay relatively,
Realistic.
on topic and family friendly, but every so
I thought you were
often,
gonna say on top.
well, that too. I can just imagine his face. I'm looking.
I can
So-
feel his face palm.
I can feel his anger, his hatred.
Can we go on topic? Okay, I'm done. Raiben, let's talk. I was gonna make a transition, and then you just went worse. And I was gonna make a smooth transition. Now it's as rock hard as can be. Oh God!
The
dang it.
best.
Oh, really?
Hey, I didn't even provoke that one. That wasn't even me.
Raiben,
Anyway.
Raiben, let's talk about your channel.
Sure. What do you want to know?
So tell the audience, because I don't think they know you. What do you do?
I do gaming videos
Okay.
mostly.
Mainly commentary, or just strictly like playthroughs or something like that?
Well, I do a series of tutorials for a game called StarMade, which I'm pretty well involved with now. And for anybody who doesn't know, StarMade is like Minecraft in space, in my opinion, better. And we'll just leave it at that. Think EVE Online mixed with Minecraft, and you get the idea. And so I do tutorials, I build ships, I do some playthroughs, some random videos. I play other videos. Yeah, that's totally what I meant to say.
Yep.
Other games from time to time as well, but it's more of a StarMade focused channel, to be honest.
Okay, cool. So like there's the section that there's the Minecrafters of the division, and then there's the StarMade division, and then there's the guys that play horror. So you're in that genre where you're playing like predominantly StarMade videos. Is that a very popular thing? Is there a lot of people doing it? Is it a sort of trending thing? Like, I guess not necessarily at the standards of Minecraft, but like, do people get into the game like as immensely as you would think that people do? Like, is this a really popular game is what I'm trying to ask.
It was relatively well known up until December 3rd when we launched on Steam, and it's growing in popularity, but it's still alpha and early access, so it's not as popular as, say, something like Minecraft. There's probably a player base of 20,000 people. So
okay, I mean that's not a bad number though. I just have not heard of the game. I was just kind of curious about that. So, and what sort of subscriber count do you sit at? Obviously, I have a link to your channel in the description, but I'm sure some people just want to know the facts now. You're getting judged on how many subscribers you're about to get in the next 10 seconds. Choose your words wisely.
I think I'm 2 or 3 shy of 800.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'll remind myself to unsubscribe from you later so you don't get I'm kidding.
Thanks for that.
I love those people that they hit like a low milestone, like the starting channels, and they're like, oh my gosh, hit 100 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. And then some idiot's like, I'm going to troll this guy. 99 subscribers. Like, really? What do you gain out of this? What?
So that actually.
It's like your brother that unsubscribes too. You're like, oh, come on. Johnny, why?
On Halloween, I had 668 subscribers, so I literally told 2 of my friends to unsubscribe so I could get a screenshot.
Wow.
That is legit, and that's exactly what happened. Saber and Delmon unsubscribed.
Is it sad that I can see this text message like, hey guys, unsubscribe from my channel? Not because I hate you guys, I just want to try this.
I literally did. I texted those 2 and I was like, hey, I want to get a screenshot. I need you to unsub from my channel for about 10 minutes at least.
So let's talk about
Delmon never came back. Anyway.
So let's talk about games before we continue to go off topic. Like, we're not very good on topic usually, but this is bad today. My voice cracked. Everybody shut up.
Puberty
So
strikes again.
yes. Apparently I'm a late bloomer.
You're reversing the other way through it. Benjamin Button syndrome.
Okay.
Freaking
Yeti! Let's talk about you to start with. What kind of games have you been playing, good sir?
I actually haven't been playing that many new games lately because of all the Christmas things. So I've been doing just like short little, like one-hit wonder type games.
Okay.
Like the Tug the Table and Wrestle Jump and games like that, or like little flash games here and there.
Okay.
Just because they're easy to do, they're easy to record, and I had so many people over for Christmas, I didn't have much time to do anything.
That's what I think was like a weird thing for me because I was just like, excuse me. There we go. Yeah, that was the thing. I think I got a chance to play like some NBA 2K15. I'm a sports game sort of guy. I really like the fact that the new next gen of 2K15 is extremely realistic. It's weird to say that because like if you look at like a couple years ago, like you would have never thought of that. Like that these games would look this cool and playing that on a PC and it's like, wow, this is actually pretty awesome. It's like I can dunk on top of somebody and it looks like I actually dunked on top of them. This is amazing.
Your fingers aren't like clipping through their face.
Right, right. The other thing I really like too is or the other games I've been playing, I should say. I'm gonna be starting to play To the Moon. If anybody hasn't heard of that game, apparently it's a story-driven indie game. I didn't know a lot behind it. I just knew it was at a good sale price, and I got some positive reviews from it. And I just kind of said, let's try it. I don't know what exactly to expect from it, so it was kind of like a venture of curiosity for me. So that's going to go up on my channel, by the way, so make sure you guys watch that coming up soon.
That's exactly what I was going to do. I've had that game for about a month now, and I decided yesterday that I was going to make a video like, look, guys, I've got a lot going on right now, so I'm just going to stop everything and do one solid series.
Yep.
And it was going to be To the Moon.
On Fridays...
I have never heard of this game, to be honest.
If you get a
Apparently
chance to look it up...
feels.
I was going to say,
Okay.
yeah, it's supposed to be a very emotionally story-driven game, according to what they said. Now, obviously, I don't think it has actual voice acting, but you can read it. So it's this is probably a bad example,
right
but
now,
this is probably a bad example, but this is probably associating with the Crooked Man, and its style of play, where you can read through everything and whatnot. It's kind of the same thing, in that.
Oh yeah, there's a whole realm like Crooked Man.
I don't
Witch's
think
House,
that it's a
Mermaid
horror
Swamp.
game though, is it? I don't think that's a horror game.
There's a lot of games that are like that aren't horror. Like there's Dinsha,
Yep.
Rekindled. Like there's a bunch of games like that aren't horror games that are still really, really good.
Can we mention
just-
the video that you did where there was a part where the music was rocking, and it was one of the types of games like that, and the music was rocking, and you just decided to make a clip of yourself in 15 frames a second webcam with a can of Febreze on your crotch and just spraying the whole room and just shaking like as if you're doing a dance. You're like, hey!
It was like I had my hands up like this, and it was in a hand, and I was like, doing a little jig like that.
Yeah, and then you start swinging a sword. I'm like, oh, why?
That one was called The Sandman, which is like the creator of the Crooked Man is doing a whole line of games of like the Something Man, and the Sandman was created after the Crooked Man.
Next is gonna be the Milkman. And since we just got wrapped up with fan fiction earlier, I'll let you guys figure that one out.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, Raiben, any other games that you've been playing recently?
I'm actually looking through my Steam library. I've been playing a lot of This War of Mine.
Oh, that's right. I've heard about that game. Is it actually pretty legit? I saw it earlier and I was thinking about buying it, but I wasn't like set on it yet. Like I didn't know if I wanted to.
It's one of those games that I don't think would do well as a Let's Play, but it'll force you to make some interesting decisions and actually kind of evaluate yourself. It's a really cool game. War Thunder released some tanks for the Americans. I've been playing some of that.
War Thunder, and I'm probably gonna get shot at this. Everybody's playing War Thunder lately. I still haven't played it yet. Then a friend of mine discovered this game like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he's like, "Hey, dude, you gotta check this out and play this game." I played it one time. I was like, it's okay. And then like everybody starts playing it. I'm like, is there something that I'm just clearly missing in this game?
Well, I think that the point of the game is that it's targeted to so many different audiences. If you're a hardcore sim fan, you can play simulator mode with the joystick, and if you try to play it with keyboard and mouse, you're gonna hate yourself. If you're an arcade player, there's an arcade version, that's right there. It's all integrated into the same game. And if you're somewhere in between, I am like myself, you can play realistic, which is some sort of mix between the two. But other than that, I've been playing actually Star Wars Galaxies.
Okay.
We found an emulator. It's a very old game. It's not supported, but we found an emulator in a mod pack that actually starts it up again. And if you have the original discs, I won't say whether or not I do or not, or if I got them from a less than reputable source. But if you do, you can get this mod and install it, and it has a server called the Bloodfin server, and it's incredibly addictive, and it's free. So that's always a plus too, because I've been thinking about picking up. Part of me gets called back to my MMO roots, and I don't have, $50 to spend on a new game right at this moment. I don't have the $15 subscription fees for so many of these games. So I just grabbed Guild Wars 2 from my sister's house. Apparently she had my freaking discs. So we'll see. I might install that and play that again. We'll see. No idea. But that's pretty much what I've been doing. That and a whole heck of a lot of StarMade.
So let's talk about the t-shirts that we're wearing today. We're gonna go a little random on this part. Let's talk about the t-shirts that we're wearing today. Raiben, let's talk about your t-shirt. What are you wearing today? Because it clearly I can't see it.
No innuendos whatsoever.
Nope. Nope.
Who said I'm wearing a t-shirt?
I mean, I guess you don't have to, but that would just be weird.
I like to sit.
Just at least make it family friendly and say you are wearing one.
What's wrong with him? Maybe he likes to sit naked in front of his computer.
That's honesty, even more awkward.
I am wearing my old Navy PT shirt.
Okay, you have no significance. You have no significance to your shirt, so we're gonna skip you. Yeti, what is your shirt, sir? I love Hyrule. I 3-heart love Hyrule. Is that like a new version of love? Is there like a super love? Is that a triple love? Is that like...
Yeah, it totally has nothing to do with the amount of health you start off in any given Zelda game whatsoever, except for like...
Thanks for making me sound like an idiot.
Yeah,
I was trying to make a joke, but my shirt, and I have to try to pull it over my thing, is Cure for Cali shirt. Today, which was Sunday, we had this thing. There's someone that has a disease called scleroderma. I'm going to leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Basically, it attacks your immune system and just weakens you in that sense. And there's not really an actual cure for this disease. And more or less, it's through chemotherapy and a couple other variations that this can be stopped. It's kind of this, I don't know if this is a good way to describe it, but it's kind of like treated as a cancerous sort of thing, but it has nothing involved with cancer. So it's treated in those fashions, though, if that makes any sense. So she's got to go through a couple months of that, and so they made this huge fundraiser for it to support the financial costs for it and stuff. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. I know that if anything occurs to them over the time, I'll probably have to put a charity live stream up to support more efforts. But it sounded like it was really successful today. I was in a volleyball tournament. I looked like crap. As usual.
You were in a volleyball tournament.
I was in a volleyball tournament, and I'm scared because that's a bad thing.
Were you like Tom Cruising it up?
Dude, I was like, if there was a guy in the wheelchair next to me, he could have easily won over me.
Oh, you weren't like oil and sunlight all day. I
can serve the ball really good, but that's about it. I can put the ball over the net on a serve.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, is put the ball over the net.
That's on a serve, true. Though. I was joking and this was funny because I was actually not designed to be on a team to start with, but someone was short a player, so they were like, hey, do you want to come and join our team to play this? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And I didn't know this, and I was like, hey, what branch are we playing at? Because there was the recreational side and there was the competitive side. Obviously, you can tell which one does what. One's a little more fun, laid back. Another one's, obviously more difficult.
That was 2 MLG for regular people.
Thank you. But what I found funny was, I just went up to him and I just said, hey, what branch are we in? We're in recreational, right? And he says, no, we're in competitive. And I go, are you kidding me? I was like, have you ever seen me hit a volleyball before? We will lose. We got 4th place, though. I'm proud of that.
Out of how many?
Out of 10.
Oh, I was going to say 4.
I was gonna say 4th place out of 4 or 5 isn't that good.
I forget what tournament it was a long time ago. And Raiben, we'll talk about the charity tournament in a second because we have to. But what I found funny is, like, I've been in tournaments where there's like 10 people and people would like start bragging that they got 8th, and I'm like, out of 10 people, do you realize that's like getting 28th out of 30th on a regular tournament? It's like 98th out of 100 in the other tournaments. I'm like, are you not getting the picture here? That you kind of biffed it.
Might want to check your math a little bit there.
I'm making comparisons. I'm not mathing right now. But yeah, let's talk about that because there's not really that much that's been going on this week with Christmas and stuff going on. Not that many like particular things happen. Obviously, Sony and whatnot is dumb. So we'll talk about that in a couple minutes, though. First thing I want to talk about is how badly I dominated EFSF Raiben in the charity tournament. That if you remember the way back in episode 2, all the way back in episode 2 with Brandon Davis, when I talked to him about the podcast and all the Extra Life particular activities that we did, and how Raiben was the first guy I played against, and
it turned out that I cannot, for the life of me, play Mario Kart.
That was fun.
Let's see. I'm not too worried about it, honestly.
What I found really funny is I had a friend of mine, and it was Fastchasm7. He was playing in the tournament. He and I play against each other all the time. We always like are very close, if not tie with each other. He lost in the first round to like an 11-year-old, and I started just laughing so hard. Like he's just like, "Yeah, I lost first round, man." I'm like, "Who did you play against?" A 7-year-old and an 11-year-old. and I was just like, and I was just like, "And you lost? And you lost?" Yeah. Well, I guess there goes our chances of going to the finals.
Yeah.
And
that was pretty funny, actually.
And then there was with you, I'm not gonna try to brag too much. I'm just gonna say this. It was just kind of funny because like I got there and I thought everybody was gonna be a super professional, and then you just straight up told me, it's like, dude, I've hardly played Mario Kart. if you win, I'm not even gonna be mad.
That was pretty much exactly how that went down. Because I mean,
the whole time too, like we were racing, we just started laughing at each other, just messing with each other. We took nothing seriously that first round.
I ran into I don't know how many walls.
The memories. But anyway,
that point,
do you know that Brandon and I are partnered for next year's thing, and we're going up to Grand Rapids for the video game truck, and we'll possibly have our own T-shirts next year. Just a couple hint things, and
I don't know what any of that is.
Extra Life or what we just talked about there.
What you just said right there.
About the T-shirts or about the video game truck?
The video game truck.
People will get like this big, I don't want to call it a bed, but it's a big section of a semi. So, this is my terminology
we all
I'm
lay
using
down
today.
in the bed together and play video games.
Play, sure. Video games.
Why do we talk about fan fictions for games? God. Why did we? Oh, this is so bad.
It's all your fault.
I'm gonna make sure to put like PG-13 in the front of this podcast.
It ain't that bad.
Anyways, I was saying basically what it is in this cargo bed, they put a bunch of game, like arcade game sort of styles, or like a section for like Xbox One or something like that. They'll just put a bunch of different sections of video games, and then people will pay to either play those individual games or like pay to go in that section, be in there for like a half an hour, play a game, get out. So that's basically what that is. And then it's just this big old video game truck that people can come in and just check out and play like a certain game. Like we could have like arcade games in there. There could be like an Xbox One game. Like we could get like Halo going or something like that. Like there's so many different things that we possibly could do with that. So that's what's cool about that.
Oh, speaking of Halo 5.
Yep.
Okay.
When are they going to stop beating that dog?
I don't know. I'm getting tired of it already.
All I heard was moo, moo, and if you're not getting the hint, they're milking it. That was a bad reference.
That was particularly bad. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make the excuse that I woke up just recently, and then I had to fix this problem of whatever we were doing in the.
There is no excuse for that.
There is no excuse.
Fan fiction and bad analogies. That's the theme of today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the one.
Oh man. But yeah, so far let's start getting into the news here real quick. Let's start talking about some new stuff. Not that much again has really happened this week. From what I've seen, the PlayStation Network, of course, what did they do? They went down. They couldn't do anything. No one could really access much. Shocker. I think Xbox also had that problem too, but it was mainly to, I think, the PlayStation Network, if I remember correctly.
It happened with Xbox too. like just as bad.
Yeah, I don't know how the severity of it. I was trying to look at some articles and they didn't really say like, this one crashed really badly or this one did something badly, and so nothing really too crazy. But
The only reason I say it was about the same was because when I had my younger sister over for Christmas as well, and she we were trying to play zombies together and we couldn't get online. We couldn't figure out why, and we were like, oh, it's Christmas, the servers are probably overloaded.
yeah, exactly.
And then her boyfriend called her and said the exact same thing was happening for Xbox Live. So I was like, oh, I guess it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, we use like, hey guys, how you doing? We're fine.
Yeah, the section I see is gaming networks were hacked on Christmas Day. That was the article that I'm seeing right here. But
So they were hacked. It wasn't just from a server overload. It
was hacked, and I think PlayStation Network had to and Xbox Live had to take their stuff down, like they did earlier. And I said this in the pre-talk of the podcast. I watched Boogie2988 on some of his videos. I like what he said on one of them.
Yep.
He was joking. He jokingly said, "I could probably get on top of Jennifer Aniston, than get on the PlayStation Network as of right now."
It's more likely for me to get on top of Jennifer Aniston than it is to get on top
get
into the PlayStation Network right now.
Thank you for clarifying that for me. I don't know why my brain can't think. I cannot brain today. I has the dumb is what a
I has the dumb.
Yeah, someone sent me a picture of a T-shirt they got, and it says that, and it's like this cat that's like wide-eyed and just spread out eyes, and it's just like, I cannot brain today. I has the dumb. I want to get. Okay, anyway, let's back onto the news before I go off topic.
I do have one news piece.
Go ahead.
Right now, for those of you who are PC gamers and don't know, I don't know how you would not know, but Steam's doing their holiday sale, and there are some really good games today. Oh, I know today is today. I don't know when this is exactly coming out in relation, but definitely check out the Steam deals because may as well spend some of that money on, Christmas money on some good stuff. I know, like, as the time recording of this, this War of Mine is 25% off. It's a new game, so, whatever. But I've had a lot of fun with that. I'm not trying to pitch the product or anything like that, but hey.
Transistor's got a big sale. Max Payne 3 is $5.
I own that one too.
Wow,
Transistor's really good.
That was a story that excuse me. That was a story that I wanted to get into, and I probably will as soon as I'm done with this. I'll probably be buying it pretty soon, but that's pretty sweet. I've seen a couple things.
Game.
It's weird. It's a weird concept though. Like when they first explain it to you, like in the description, it's like it's a talking sword that you have, and this talking sword like guides you through the mission, and like it makes you think you're really crazy, but like it blends nicely, and I like that. And it's also got an art style. It's also got a really nice modern art style that I really like behind it. That's what I like. So and this is, again, it's a shameless plug, I guess, if you want to say, to go play Transistor. I don't get any money out of it.
Yeah,
I work in a major retail industry, and everybody always asks if I get commission off of it, and our company does not get commission. And I always laugh at that because they're like, "You're trying to upsell me." What? How much money are you getting off of this?
Right.
How much money am I getting?
Right now, it's a huge recommendation from Total Biscuit. Whether or not you like him or not, he does do good game reviews.
Yep. I watched him on Co-optional. That was my thing. Maybe one day.
I love the game. It's a really good game. I played Bastion way back when. This is by the same guys. So if you've played Bastion like that, try this out. It's a little bit less. It's more tactical. But it's a beautiful storyline. Some of the greatest music I've ever heard in a game as well.
Yep.
And,
you know what? Going back to when we were talking about games, I just realized that when you said music, I started playing Valiant Hearts, The Great War. Mm-hmm. I really like what they did about that game. I am extremely impressed about that game. That was a very quiet game. I didn't think I was actually going to like that much. It went on sale. I went and bought it. I'm like, I'm going to kill some time and play it. Everything is kind of cool about it. It's an accurate historical story that they tell in this game, and right now I'm at the point where, because in the family that you start with, the husband and wife. The husband was originally German, and since Germany and France were in war, anybody that was German that lived in France had to go back to Germany by force, I guess. So they took, his name was Karl. They took Karl back to Germany, and strangely enough, the father of the wife had to go as well and serve for France. He ended up getting shot and captured, and ironically, was at the same camp that his son-in-law, or the husband, was at. And so they actually made a pact because he was so upset that he got moved back to Germany that he wanted to actually come back with him and then get out of there and escape, which I thought was really, really cool. And then also, you're an American, and you literally, with the American, your only goal is to screw everything up in the path of you. Like, he's seeking vengeance on Germany's main leader, and I can't remember his name right now, sorry. But, oh my gosh, it is so funny. Like, there's conveniently,
Hitler?
like, a bunch of... No. It wasn't during that... No, it wasn't.
But I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like, you say main leader in Germany, and as racist as it could come off, that's the first thing I think of.
No, it wasn't during, like, World War I or II. I forget what time it was during.
Yeah.
I'd have to do some reviewing, but it was just funny because, like, this... In the game, your main weaponry is grenades, glass, and other things. It's not necessarily a gun because you have to, like, technically move. I haven't at least gotten to the point that takes the guns. I don't know if it does or not yet. I haven't confirmed.
So is it like a survival then? It's basically a survival in a hostile territory sort of thing?
Yeah, kind of. It's a side scroller. So that's the other thing too. That was, like I said, the art style behind it. Yeah, like the whole background is is a really good art design to it. So I really like behind that too. But yeah, it was funny. I like the parts because there's one mission especially that I'm talking about. There's like 4 parts where you have grenades, and you have to make sure that you throw these grenades straight at the people that are throwing the guns. And you have to throw it so perfectly that it like has to like launch into this chute like a chimney sort of thing and just land and just blow both of them up, and you're just like,
that sounds that sounds kind of like, I'm not gonna say hard, that sounds like unappealingly hard.
It depends.
Yeah,
it depends on what it is, because that's not like every case, but that was like a couple of them. Like like you start
Sounds
out.
like it might be almost like an auto aim or a slow down, slow-mo mode.
That's the thing. That's the thing too. Is like it's not like oh, you're gonna die if you throw this right away. Like you can back up from the gunfire and then start throwing it, and you have unlimited ammo because it's like this big crate that you find, and then you can start throwing it from there. And then they actually show you the guidance of like the actual missile. And sorry, this is about to sound weird, but it kind of is like an Angry Birds trajectory aiming system.
Okay.
So it has that, so at least it's not like a pain.
It's got a guide.
So you got to put the grenade in a slingshot first before you throw it.
That's pretty much it.
And then it starts going.
and then you gotta make sure you tap the screen at one point so that it starts boomeranging back, and
it turns into a cluster bomb.
It drops a big egg, and then just starts flying away, and it turns into a pancake.
That's how it works. What?
Pancake.
You didn't hear about this? Ooh, I'm hungry now. I hate you all.
I have a big stack of cookies at my house. It's literally like this big, and it's like, oh, why did you? Someone gave it to me at this charity event today. That's fine. You can take it if you want to.
I'm gonna rob you, and the only thing I'm gonna take is cookies.
Like
that's it.
Like you hear somebody in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden they just break open the door, and you just like call the police, and they get here, and they just ask you, why did you take down the door? And they're like, dude, I just wanted the cookies, man.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm not like, I don't want his money or anything. I just want his cookies.
That's
like you start sprinting out of the house with just this container of cookies, and they're just so confused. Like, all right, what else?
Stop or I'll shoot.
What else did you take?
It's almost as bad as somebody coming in to steal ramen.
Yeah.
Just coming in to steal instant ramen. That would be great.
I love how we're trying to talk about gaming news right now. We're talking about ramen right now.
It's gone. It's gone now.
JayCast.
Where
there's games, guests, and 2 big headphones. And yeah, apparently there's some games. We need to rephrase this catchphrase where there's some games and a lot of ramen.
Yeah, well.
JayCast, where there's some games, a lot of ramen, and 2 guys with big headphones.
I can give you a little bit more gaming news. Star Citizen released their Arena Commander Module 2.
I just heard Total Biscuit talking about that, and do you have a little more information about that game? Because I don't know enough behind the game to actually say a valuable point.
Well, it's an interesting concept. I played some of Chris Roberts' old games like Freelancer. I sunk altogether way too many hours into that game, and it's basically an open world space game.
Okay.
And it's going to take forever to make, and it has been taking forever to make, but it has some potential.
Also on a quick plug before I forget, To the Moon is $2 right now on the Steam sale.
I was just
Make
looking
sure
that.
you go check that out because I'll be playing that on my channel. But if you want to play it for yourself, get that. Continue on with Star Citizen though.
Chris Roberts does a lot of, he did the Arena Commander series. He did, he's done a ton of really, really good space games. And I grew up on them, basically, on those games. So I backed the game for about $30. So I'm in the alpha, and it's interesting. Obviously, it's not really playable yet. It's pre-alpha, but it's pretty cool. I'm also playing Elite Dangerous, which is actually now officially released, and is kind of it's fun. I'm a big space nut. I mean, what can I say?
Nut.
Yeah.
I just stumbled across a very humorous little tidbit of gaming news.
Okay,
Oh, yeah?
go ahead.
So, if you didn't know, there's a Metal Gear Solid 5 coming out. It's called
Yep.
The Phantom
God.
Pain. Apparently, Kojima revealed, this is like quoting from the thing I'm looking at, Metal Gear fans watched a 3 hours long video, probably hoping for some more exciting news or maybe even a release date, but it wasn't until the 2 hour and 45-minute mark that Kojima made his big reveal, which in the end was nothing more than a chicken hat. According to the developers, the game will offer players the item if they keep dying and retrying the same section. If they choose to wear it, the enemies will be slower to spot and react to players. The only price is the humiliation of looking like a chicken.
That's clever. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I will say though that Kojima, he's done some questionable things with the first version of the game, or they released. It's been released in two parts, right? So they released the demo for like $30 or something.
Yep.
For Metal
Which
Gear
was
5?
Was it 5 or was that 4 technically?
I'm sorry, but like to get a demo for $30 does not.
Well,
seem-
it was like 3 hours of gameplay, and if
Okay.
you tried to do every little thing, you could push it up to 20, but that's still, and that's like literally taking the most amount of time you could possibly imagine on every individual.
You
little
don't sprint in
thing.
any mission. You just walk
Exactly.
it through. It's called a
Exactly,
walkthrough
that's-
for a reason, guys. I mean,
Well,
come on, you know.
But there
Oh,
were some
yeah,
incredibly questionable things in the game, topics and things presented in certain lights.
Questionable how?
Well, at the risk of getting a little too dark, there are audio recordings that are basically rewards, right?
Yeah.
And you have a couple of compatriots, for lack of a better term, or people that you are trying to save. There are two people from the earlier games that are important to Snake, the character.
Yep.
And so you go out and you save them. One of them's a female, one of them's a little boy, if I remember correctly. And the audio recording implies physical and possibly sexual assault against the girl.
Oh, I
And
thought you were going to say
you
the
hear
little
it.
boy.
No.
That would have been
Not
weird.
in this case.
That would have
That
been
would have
very
been a
weird.
lot more dark.
I was gonna say that
Well,
that would
I don't
that
know.
would really cut the game.
It's,
if I did
it's
that.
dark either way. I mean, it's still...
Yeah.
But the point is that in order to get this, you have to get this thing, you have to... It's not presented in a very good light, right? As in, it's almost presented as a reward for doing certain
Yeah.
things because it's an unlockable.
That's-
It's something for completing a difficult part, difficult thing to
Yeah,
do. So
that's weird.
it's presented in a very, very. It's almost presented as a bonus, a good thing, and so I'm watching with very dubious. I'm
That's-
very,
yeah,
I
that's a
very
good way
kind
of
of,
saying
I
it.
kind of
right
think
now.
that's a glass half full or half empty kind of deal because the actual footage itself may not be the reward. The reward is the opportunity to experience more of the storyline and more backstory, whereas it's
That's
not
true.
a necessity.
I can
The fact that
understand
the
and
footage
respect
Yeah, I can
that,
see.
that viewpoint
I can
as
see
well.
that point.
But it's really hard to explain. But
I see what you're saying, though.
essentially-
Yeah.
Like something of that nature shouldn't be.
I don't have a
it
million
comes
things
out
to
of
throw on this topic,
nowhere
though.
For Metal Gear, it does. It comes out of nowhere in the series. The rest of
Yeah.
the series doesn't really cover that sort of thing, and this was handled in a very ham-fisted way, and not. If you're going to
What's that?
approach a subject like that,
Ham-fisted Avenger. Don't you know who the ham-fisted Avenger is?
Oh,
I don't
if,
think-
if you're gonna cover a subject that is sensitive, like something like sexual assault, depression, suicide, things like that.
Let's just talk about Gamergate while we're at it.
Well,
does that mean like not delicately at all?
right. Not
Yeah,
in a
that's the
very-
thing is-
in a very, very basically not
Brash.
respecting the subject itself. And I'm not going to sit there and say I'm a Gamergate supporter or I don't care about that stuff, but I still think that if you're going to talk about a subject, right, especially
It
a
has to
sensitive-
be within the correct context, because
Yeah, you
that's
need
the
to-
thing is right now, and I've started to realize these patterns. And if you see a little bit of reflecting off what Gamergate did, but more or less of just what kind of games have done lately, it seems to make sense. And I'm starting to lose my train of thought, so bear with me. But it seems interesting. Like if you cover like a very sensitive topic in a game, you have to do it in such a way that you're almost not necessarily bragging about it or not making the story about it. Because I remember it's watching another podcast talk about like a little bit of not necessarily Gamergate itself, but just kind of like the demographic of well, if someone puts a gay player in or something like that. I'm interested to see how exactly that plays, but we'll save that for another podcast. I'm not really feeling to go on an inspirational swing because I think we kind of talk about that on a podcast too, Yeti. I don't remember if you were on that one or not.
Well,
We sort of
just
talked
to
about
level
something.
the playing field, I will say this much, which is if you're going to cover a topic that's sensitive, just in any medium, religion, politics, whatever, it doesn't matter. You need to at least approach the subject with a certain amount of respect.
Yep.
I think that's a fair thing to say for anybody.
Sadly, and that's the thing
And-
too, is when you're and this is going to sound really weird from a politics side, when you're in America, I think this is what I was trying to say before I lost train. When you're in America, there's a lot more of a free side to it. You notice that. If you go out to like Europe, it's a little more constricted on certain like censorships. And then you go to America, and it's a lot more thing. I learned a little bit about that by researching the interview, because Obama had supported that the interview continues to stay. Like he said, screw North Korea, keep the movie up, and that's why I got launched. I was actually just going to talk about that, but it's a good segue into it. It's interesting how it was such an offensive thing for the interview to talk about Kim Jong-un and have a satire about it, and then have North Korea like threaten to throw all the information out. Then they say that they'll pull the movie, that's fine, and then they get the president and other people going, hey, just launch the movie. And they launched the movie, and I'm like, what? But was this a business move? That this just drawed a lot of hype behind it? I'm really curious to see like what exactly led them to bring it back, and will that actually screw them from North Korea, or was that just a false threat that that was another one of North Korea's tactics to put their big pants on, I guess, if you want to put it like that.
I think it's even just simpler than that. In reality, I mean, North Korea, let's just be honest here, they're not really a threat. I mean, if we wanted to, we could take care of them if we had to. I don't like that idea.
Of like people like drawing pictures of like North Korea preparing to launch a nuke at the U.S. and it's like, what's his name? Like
Yeah,
with the little
50 of them are gonna get together and
foam,
throw it at
Oh,
us.
the
I
little
love-
foam rocket where you stomp on the air pouch to shoot it. It was
Yeah,
him
yeah.
about to step on that.
Yeah, exactly.
I while you're talking about that, I remember watching this, or not watching, but I saw this meme that it drew a picture of Kim Jong Un holding a nuke above his head, and then there's like he runs up to this huge giant, and he throws this missile at the dude's foot. It just breaks, and then he's just got like Kim Jong Un with his arms out, like, what? That's right. I just find that funny, but yeah,
I'll just say this. I mean, there was a big outcry, not just, it wasn't Obama or anything. It was just in general, a general populace.
Everybody wanted
outcry saying, "Why are you pulling the movie? Like, we don't like they should not have any standing over what we do in our country. Screw those guys."
Exactly.
And
that's
I
exactly what Obama
that.
said. That's what I like about what you just said, because that was a very, like, I think he actually hit the money with what he said. I don't know if I still have the notes from my last episode when I talked about it, but Obama, I think, hit it on straight. Like, we're not going to let another country censor what we have here. And that's a sense of freedom, and that's kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I mean, they kind of had it coming, though.
Well, I mean,
to have that satire about killing Kim Jong Un. Like, if I lived in North Korea, like, let's just play it from that side. Let's play it from the North Korea side. If I saw our main leader that I actually liked, I'm one of those people that I actually liked, get assassinated in a movie for a joke, like, I would feel a little offended, at least from their society standards. Like, I think if someone made a movie that did the Obama thing, I don't know if that would necessarily have a huge negative side to it. I don't know though. I'm not gonna say go make a satire about doing that.
But
no.
And again, like, who cares? Like,
right.
if another country makes a video about our leader, even if we like our leader, like who cares about that? It's just a video. Like, there's no reason to go launch a nuke at him.
It's called freedom of the press, and that covers satire. And here, they're completely within their rights to make pretty much whatever the hell they want.
Very true.
As long as it's not directly inciting violence, and it's not, and they should be fine. And the fact that they got worried and pulled it, that.
Well, they had a good
initial
threat. I mean, they had a legitimate threat. They had terabytes of information from Sony. Now, well, granted, a bunch of it got leaked already, and it mainly was just bad emails. And according to what at least Sony said, it sounded like it wasn't like a life or death thing. There's like maybe a 25% of vital documents sort of section, but then there's another like 75% of like, it was just business emails. It was just, what the annual quarterly statement was, or just an email to another associate about how much they hate their job or something like that. I mean, it wasn't like huge or anything from what I at least understand from Sony's side of things explaining it. And they could easily just go, "Oh, there's nothing in there."
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's literally corporate blackmail. And if you're going to come out and say that, nobody's going to take your side. If you're going to sit there and go, Sony has popular support. Yep. And they're just gonna
they're multi-millionaire. I mean, they're multi-millionaire.
No,
how many? Sorry, my bad. Thank you for that. Thank you for that correction. They're a multi-billionaire company. I mean, what are they gonna care? They have so much successful stuff. It's not gonna It's not gonna hit them that hard,
Well, and again, in the end, it turned out it was a great marketing ploy for them.
It was. It was a huge thing. I mean, I think just in the first day alone, they had like 50,000 people rented from YouTube, I think is what I read. Like, first day, I mean, as soon as it launched, I'm like, what?
Well, let's be honest here. Before this happened, were you going to go see the interview?
I thought it was funny, but I wasn't going to, no. But now I wanted to.
It was an interesting concept.
I wanted to go see it right after that.
At their house, you'd watch it, but you're not going to go out and spend any money. But now that I think what happened was North Korea probably did do this, right? I don't think it was like a conspiracy theory or anything.
If they had a conspiracy theory and they got the government inside of it, they're really impressive. Let me just say that.
Well, I think North Korea did actually try to hack them and all that stuff. And Sony sat there and said, "Wait a second, we can use this." So they pull all the plans for the movie. So they get all that public outcry, and then they put it right back up like they were gonna anyway.
Who did that
all
recently?
All of a sudden, everybody's got
everybody's got time to watch this. What? Oh my gosh!
North Korea threatened Sony about. Yeah. Okay. It's cynical, sure, but it's within the realms of possibility.
I mean, it's business, man. A lot of things go in business. It's yeah.
And if they didn't, then they're stupid. Because that would be the first thing that I would.
Well,
have
here's
thought
the
of.
thing.
Like, yeah, pull the
we
movie
should have
for
known.
like
we
a
should
day.
have known to start with. They're gonna put the movie back out. If you
Oh,
spend
yeah.
millions of dollars into a movie, are you not gonna put it out? Like,
You need to
do you really
recoup
want to
your
sit out millions of dollars behind it? You know. And this is what is funny because now that I look back at it and like all the stuff that I talked about it, it's just like how much hype that we spent behind why it was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Why everybody wanted to go watch
Media
it.
generation
That
like
was
nobody's business.
that was.
It's cynical. I would not go so far as to say it's a conspiracy theory. I think it was just cleverly handled.
I was just gonna say I think they just handled it very well. I think it was a very professional way to do it, and I think we're boring Yeti. He's like, we've already talked about this thing like 7 times, man. Shut up about Sony.
Absolutely nothing about politics, so I don't even have 2 cents to give in this conversation.
Well,
I
mean, it
watched
wasn't
Bill
really
O'Reilly
politics.
a couple
it
days.
It was the whole,
Well,
them-
like foreign relations politics.
right.
Yeah.
So obviously we don't like North Korea, and North Korea does heinous war crimes constantly, and we're turning a blind
Yeah,
eye.
I mean, I've heard
yeah.
hearsay here and there about all this stuff, but I don't know enough about it to form a topic in a conversation.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But as far as I understand it, the whole Sony situation was they realized Sony was making this video that was gonna, attack their dear leader.
Yeah.
And
since they're so
How did
uptight about
they
it.
even find out about? Like, did they find out about it before it happened?
Well, I mean, it was an international thing. I mean, unless North
Yeah,
Korea
of
doesn't have
course.
YouTube or something like that.
well,
I
they
mean,
don't.
someone found it and they just said, Kim Jong-un, check this out. And I just eventually just went,
I thought you were talking about like they found out about it before it was released.
Well,
So I'm
yeah,
over here
I mean, it
like,
was
how does that
before
even
it was-
happen?
It was before
was projected,
released.
yeah.
It's just like they saw the trailers, for
Yeah.
the movie
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and
yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that. And
Because
said,
it was
"Oh,
supposed to
we
be
don't
launched
like
on
this."
Christmas Day. That was the original intention, was it was going to launch on Christmas Day. And then that's what, led to that.
Yeah.
They just basically found it off of trailers. And
Yeah.
obviously when they hacked Sony, they had just more confirmations behind it. And what I found funny, did anybody else notice this, how North Korea like hated us twice as much? Like they started talking about like the Americans as we were suppressing terrorism. If you look in the source of articles that I put in last week's podcast, where Yeti was buying a Christmas present for his girlfriend. Thanks for that, Yeti.
You're welcome.
We'll talk
I mean,
about that
hey,
in a second.
Which I'll withhold my comments. It's a little more than PG-13.
I'm just messing with you. It's actually kind of fun to do a podcast by myself. I was like, I actually have to talk intelligently for a half an hour or 45 minutes. But anyway, like exactly. Anyway, like I was saying, it was really weird that like North Korea like basically called us a terrorist group. Like we were the Middle East. They're like, this is ridiculous that they did this and they're offending us and blah 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 blah. I'm like, it's satire, dude. We've had satires for hundreds. I said this too. We've had satires for how many years, and there's so many different things that people have done. I think I remember one of them in literature class in high school that like we were making fun of like one of France's leaders. Like it was this very clever plot that we basically were just making fun of how bad he was. Like that's the funny thing.
Well, I mean, I would almost like to say this much though. I mean, we have a viewpoint here. Mm-hmm. Obviously we're all Americans as far as I can tell.
America.
I don't know. Yeti, I'm not so sure about you, but we'll see.
Canadian. He was originally Canadian.
That makes sense. No.
Put that in a
Screw
fan
that.
fiction.
No. Anyway, no, but we have a viewpoint, and North Koreans have a very different viewpoint. It is a very sheltered place. Most of them don't even know that the internet is a thing.
Mm-hmm. And that's the intention of their country.
I find that like I'm
Very hard to
not
believe,
I'm not
right?
I'm not doubting the validity of that, but that's really hard to even believe.
Well, in the last probably month, I've actually been very interested in that.
Yep.
And so I've been reading a lot. And this is before any of the interview shit. That doesn't count. But I will say, it's a very different place. There have been many interviews with people that have managed to escape, and they basically say that they honestly believe that Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-il, if you go back in time a little ways, can read their thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's so propagandized and so closed off. Those borders are so incredibly closed off that it's terrifying what you can do to somebody's mind. And so, you're coming from that perspective where you think your dear leader really is a god.
Well, when
They
you're such a
think
small country, that's the thing too. Think about the geography aspect of it. How small
Well-
that country is, that's pretty easy to get that amount of people, convinced that this happens. It takes years to do that, but once you get people convinced, oh, they're going to stay that way. It's brainwashing takes time. I mean, just ask POW camps back in World War One and Two. It works. You just got to get the right people to believe the right things. You say enough stuff, and it typically happens. There's a documentary plug I want to talk about. I'll put the link in the description. There's a documentary of these guys that they snuck into North Korea. And technically, when you go into North Korea, you really aren't supposed to film anything special, like government-wise or police-wise or anything. But these guys had secret cameras on them and everything. And it was messed up. They showed everything. They stayed at this huge hotel. I'm not kidding you. If you were in California, and forgive me, I can't think of the name, but if you're at one of those huge presidential suites, where it's tons and tons of money, and you go to something like that that's compared to North Korea, it looks really, really nice on the outside, but once you step inside, there was only 3 people in that area. It was those 2 guys, and there was someone else that was staying there, and they had rice, and it was a really bad tasting rice too, at this gourmet hotel, 5-star hotel compared to what we have here. That was ridiculous to see about that. So, like I said, if you get a chance to, if you're curious about North Korea, go watch that documentary, or just Google North Korea documentaries. The first result, you'll see that.
Right. There's actually, I was watching The Daily Show a while back, and this person named Suki Kim pretended to be a teacher in North Korea and was teaching their quote unquote elite. And they didn't even know about the internet, or they were just learning about it. They were 16, 17. Wrote a book called Without You, There Is No Us, My Time with the Sons of North Korea's Elite. And she did a couple of interviews, and they're definitely worth looking at. This is a book that I have yet to pick up, but I've read synopses and seen a lot of the interviews, and it's very interesting. And it's more of a, if you're, I mean, we can think of, cult mentality, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we're all, you know about, Waco and things like that, where you get a whole bunch of people and you confine them to a small area and limit what they can do, limit what they can see. And you can get people that believe some very interesting things just by telling them over and over that this person's bad, even though there might not be anything about that, right? They believe that we're evil and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, take that, give yourself an army instead, and you do it with the whole country, and you get North Korea, and that's pretty much what's happening.
Yep. Exactly.
And sure, it's definitely worth doing your own research. And sorry to dig into this stuff so heavily.
We just went straight politics, and I'm I'm done talking about Sony, and then we just carried on for another 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
we're doing really good. We're doing really good at staying on topic.
It's interesting. I always encourage people to go and check stuff out for themselves, though.
Oh yeah.
Just make sure
I kind of feel like
go
we're not
for
too
it.
far away from that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I agree, and sometimes I massively disagree.
Well,
it really depends.
Well,
little
it
food
is.
for thought here. Propaganda is legal in the United States now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's been legal.
But unadulterated propaganda, they can treat us like they treat the people in North Korea, and we would never know.
That's the thing, and I don't know. I just like that. At least talking economic wise, I like that. Okay, can we not talk about politics? I just realized I was just about to go on a rant about since gas prices are lower, economy is going to go better. But we'll talk about that.
Gas prices are actually about to start.
We're going to start a new
rising.
podcast. It's going to be political. Yeti, we got this. Anyway, let's talk about the last thing I want to talk about on here today is Christmas. Christmas was obviously Thursday. How was your guys' Christmas? Let's start with you, Yeti. How was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. I mainly asked for money, not just because of like, hey, don't buy me stuff, buy me money so I can get what I want to get.
Buy me money.
Or give
Yeah,
me,
that's
you know
how.
what?
That's
Buy me money. Don't buy me stuff. Buy
Yeah,
me
go to
money.
the U.S. Mint and say, I want
Hey,
this
hey,
dollar.
I'll give you $5 for you. I'll sell you $5 for 20. Sound
Yeah,
good?
five ones is better than 120.
Exactly.
But I asked for
That's how it
money
works.
because I got things I got to pay for. I got,
Yep.
Yep.
I have expenses and I would rather have those taken care of than to have a bunch of things.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
So I asked, and that's basically all I got, and I was okay with that.
All right, Raiben. How about you? How was your Christmas?
It was pretty good for the most part. I think part of the reason I moved away from my parents is because of, yeah, not wanting to deal with that stuff, obviously. So by the end of, I went out for a week to see them and then go and see my extended family. By the end of that, I was perfectly willing and ready to come back to my apartment. However, I got Monster Rancher for the DS,
Okay.
I heard that
and
was good.
it is amazing. It is every night before I go to bed, I'm just kicking off
That's
a
your
good
that's your
2
sleep
hours.
routine.
Oh yeah, dude, it's so good. My sister lives 4 miles from me, and she's the one that got it for me, and she has a copy. And so every week we're gonna be doing like dinner or something like that. I'll cook or she
Huh.
cooks, and
Okay.
so just as an excuse to play Monster Rancher and kick the crap out of each other with. But other than that, it was pretty good. I got a little break, and other than the hotel room, because there's four of us, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I, and we had a half a couch to sleep on while I was there. So my sister and I literally slept in shifts. But yeah, other than the Monster Rancher game, I really, I asked for money more than anything else for much the same reason.
Yep.
It's nice to know your bills are paid and you're not going to have to worry for a little while,
Right.
so that you can, if you got a little bit extra spending cash and you can decide on what you want to get, but not having that stress in life is, or at least for a month, is a better gift than just about anything else.
Hence my Christmas wishes.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
I
And
I
yeah.
originally went for money, and then I just kind of like was like, well, I mean, I don't mind that, but then I was just like, hey, if you wanted to get this instead of money, you want to be more creative, here, try this. So I got a couple cool things. I think my top favorite was I got a Google Chromecast. Do you have? I don't know if you guys know what exactly it is. But
Yeah, I know what it is.
basically, what's make your TV smart, where you can connect it to your phone and stuff. And
Yeah.
I love that to death because as a kid, I watched this show called Code Lyoko, and
Yep.
um,
Watch
Code
that
Lyoko
way
is
back
favorite
when.
Amazing.
That
favorite
was a great one.
show of all time. I didn't literally cry, but I cried inside when I found out that their company went bankrupt as of like a year and a half or 2 years ago. So they never made an English version of the new one they have, which is like Code Lyoko. Gosh,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But-
I've seen.
It has subtitles, doesn't it?
yeah, it's got subtitles, but like I don't know.
like
Japanese
so.
voice acting is always 10 times
That's the
better than
thing.
English voice
That's
acting.
true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's very true.
Actually, if we're gonna speak, I gotta say this just because apparently I've got at least a couple people who enjoy some anime. I watched one called Aldnoah Zero recently, and it's a mecha. I'm a big mech fan. If you can't tell by my profile
Yeah,
picture,
definitely can.
I grew up on Gundam. I grew up on Outlaw
Make
Star.
a fan fiction about that, guys.
No, please
Outlaws.
don't.
Big O.
Oh, big
Oh,
O,
I
yeah.
love Big O.
But Aldnoah Zero is the biggest screw you in the world. It's such a good. It's slow to get started, but it's
What is
so
it?
good.
have to look it
Aldnoah, ALDNOAH space
Okay.
ZERO. It's subbed. It's not dubbed, as far as I know. But and it's in full 1080p on certain sites. I'll get you the site later, man.
I've got Crunchyroll on my PS3.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah, there you go.
Crunchyroll.
And
I-
it's so good though, and it will. It's 12 episodes long for the first season, and I promise you, when you get to the end, you're literally going to start screaming, "Screw this show!" over
I'm
and over and over.
excited.
It's so good.
I
And Oh, it was so fun.
This was funny.
And the second season comes out in January or February, and I'm sitting there going, "How the hell are they going to do this? I don't understand it." It's one of those series really screws your head.
It was so weird. When I was like a kid, and I'll go back to Cody Young for a second. When I was a kid, I literally had dreams that I was in that world of Code Lyoko. Like I was like in the scanner and everything. I was just like, this is my imagination. Okay, I was the fifth guy, whatever, and I was a sniper.
The fifth girl.
I was a sniper. Shut up. I was a sniper slash pistol. So basically, I was like an army guy, and it was awesome. Like I just remember I remember this one part that I was just like I was completely the best person in the world because like. The whole group was like pinned, and I just like take a sniper and just shoot every single one of the monsters just around them, and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, who is that?" That is so weird. And then
to this day, I just pretended that I killed Ketra in Gundam Wing and stole his Sandrock, and that's why my picture is Sandrock Gundam from Gundam Wing. But no, yeah, Gundam was much the same way for me. I envisioned myself driving a Gundam and beating the ever-living crap out of stuff and flying through space and yeah.
Anyway, so I found what I was trying to get to with the Chromecast before we decided to go way off again.
Anime's a good time.
Hey, that was your fault. You started talking about Code Lyoko.
I know. I had to
all,
say it.
so.
I fangirl over that all day. So, but it was cool because there's a guy that's on YouTube that he actually has all the episodes, and like I said, because the company's bankrupt and he doesn't monetize it, then he can just basically put it up for no reason.
Yeah, send me that link because I need to rewatch them.
Yeah, I will send that to you soon here.
I mean, I may switch out to Crunchyroll at some point, but
he runs it to 480, so it's 480p.
Okay, Crunchyroll it is.
Yeah, if you can find it on Crunchyroll, I'd probably go there because he has it on 480 and it's really and the sound's really good and everything. It just not
I still need to finish Attack on Titan, and I feel really bad that I haven't, but I haven't had time.
Right.
My anime watching schedule has been thoroughly screwed.
I love what I've.
Yeah.
I found this funny though, because what I was gonna mention, not necessarily very thoroughly that I mentioned it, but I have a TV down here that I moved up to my room, and it has the speakers and everything too, and so now I watch like 4 episodes of Code Lyoko every night before I go to bed, because there's like 60 episodes or something like that. Or 70 episodes, something like that. So I just like watch a whole bunch of it. I'm just like, oh, I miss you, show. And like I just like for some reason decided to start at season 2, and I've already gone through 30 episodes in 3 days. So I'm making some progress. I think if I had Netflix, I would never survive in my life.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix, but my roommate, she does.
Okay.
And that's about all that, she's got Netflix and Hulu. So, we go out there and we'll watch a movie, every other day when she's not working. She's a nurse, so she works 12 hours a lot on a neuro floor. so typically she'll come home, and if I'm actually here, if I'm not out working or something like that, it tends to be, all right, I'm cooking dinner because I just don't want to hear you complain too much. There's only so much of that I can take.
Cooking for silence.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? To anyone with a boyfriend or girlfriend, it doesn't matter. If you ever want to get them to shut up, the best thing you can do is make them food. Because in order for them to eat the food,
shut up and eat this pizza,
Johnny. It's
hard
for them to talk while you're shoving food in your mouth.
I am so mad at you right now, sir. Eat this pizza.
The better you make it, the quieter they'll be, because it'll actually be good. And so that was something I learned early on, I'm 24, 25 area. No, I'm 25. So
you just learned that yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, something like that. No, I actually had to think about it because I don't think about it very often.
That is true.
I learned that when I was
23, and like the older you get, the less you think about it.
Do I feel like I'm a really young person for being 19 then or something? I feel like I'm really young compared to you guys.
We're just more well-traveled. That's it.
You have a couple more days above me is all you've got.
If by days you mean
I've got
years.
good hair. I've got good hair. I'm 19 years old.
If by days you mean a couple of groups
Man.
of 365 days.
and a few
Something like
thousand
that.
miles. I mean, I used to live in Japan. Beat that.
I'm moving to Japan.
Where to?
Don't know yet.
Wait, when?
Don't go to Okinawa.
Okay,
I'm not
we'll
going
talk
to-
about that off camera. We'll talk about that off
Yeah,
camera.
different
Alright.
thing.
I think it's been a good addition of the podcast today, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Yeti Hyrule, nice to have you back from earlier, from your shopping experience, quote unquote, or whatever you thought it was.
Shopping.
Experience, fan fiction, shopping experience.
Well,
Yeti
there was
Hyrule.
no fiction.
Boy. I'm assuming
Come
I'm
on.
going to end up hearing this
Gosh.
story soon.
You opened the
I'm
door.
really
I had to
scared.
go
I'm
there.
really scared if any one of our viewers watches this and like, I'm gonna make a fan fiction. Like, I'm just really scared of that.
Don't worry, I'll send a bunch of my viewers over, and I'm sure.
Oh
well.
God. I like kind of want to read it just to see how bad it is, but at the same time, I don't want to like scar myself.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. So thank you so much for EFSF Raiben, or just Raiben, for joining us today. I appreciate
No problem.
wonderful insight from you, good sir. Look forward to working with you more toward Extra Life when it enters into the new year. So
Yep.
we're gonna be having some awesome stuff for that. So thank you, wonderful viewers, for joining in today. If you get a chance to, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. If you want to help this person out, her name is Kelly Johnson, and she has scleroderma right now, and it would be amazing if you could come and help her out. Because scleroderma is not curable currently. It's one of those rare diseases. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I am Jay, wishing you a wonderful day.